There was an audible gasp in the courtroom this morning as Stormy Daniels testified in Donald Trump's criminal trial. Stormy Daniels recounted how she ran into Donald Trump at a 2006 golf tournament, how Trump invited her to his hotel room through his security guard, Keith Schiller, that while she was there, Donald Trump compared her to Ivanka and said that you both have blonde hair and are misunderstood. And then Stormy Daniels asked Donald Trump, but isn't your wife going to care? And Donald Trump said, we don't sleep in the same bedroom. It won't matter. There were more details that I'll discuss from the testimony this morning, but Stormy Daniels was called by the prosecution in the criminal case against Donald Trump. We are in week 4, day 13, and Stormy Daniels' testimony thus far has been absolutely compelling and devastating for Donald Trump. Adam Klasfeld is in the courtroom taking diligent notes. I don't want to miss anything about what's being said, so let's go to Klasfeld in the courtroom. The judge said, "Next witness, please." The prosecution said, "The people call Stormy Daniels." Adam Klasfeld describes how Stormy Daniels broadly smiles as she enters the courtroom before quickly changing to a serious expression. Assistant District Attorney Susan Hoffinger begins direct examination. Stormy Daniels confirms her birth name is Stephanie Clifford, but she says she prefers to go by the name Stormy Daniels. She then describes her upbringing. Stormy Daniels seems to be firing off details about her life and education very quickly, her voice slightly shaky. The prosecutor asks, "May I ask you just to slow down a bit, Miss Daniels?" Daniels says that she was 23 years old when she got her first adult film contract with Wicked Pictures. Quote, "I was one of the youngest, if not the youngest adult feature directors." She rattles off awards that she won as an adult film director. She's racing through her testimony, speaking much faster than she did in previous proceedings. Question from the prosecutor: "Were you recently featured in a documentary?" Answer: "Yes." Daniel says it was about her life, and she spoke about Trump in it. She also explored running as a GOP senatorial candidate in the Louisiana primary, although she ultimately didn't run. Stormy Daniels then recalls meeting Donald Trump at a golf tournament in Lake Tahoe in 2006. Quote, "He did a lot of cameos and things like that," Stormy Daniels said, adding that she was 27 years old at the time. Trump, she says, was older than her father. Stormy Daniels, pointing in the former president's direction, identifies Donald Trump sitting at the defense table. Stormy Daniels then identifies a photograph of Donald Trump and her at the tournament in July 2006 where they met. This photograph was entered into the court record. Stormy Daniels said that Donald Trump's bodyguard Keith Schiller told her, "Mr. Trump is interested in having you join him for dinner." At that time, Stormy Daniels said no, she didn't know Schiller's last name at the time, she says. Then an exhibit is entered. Schiller's contact information on Stormy Daniels' phone. It's entered as Keith Trump. She didn't know his last name was Schiller. I didn't know his last name. I knew he worked for. That's why I put it in my phone as Keith Trump. You see here the prosecutors are continuing to corroborate her story with contemporaneous entries on her phone, photographs, etc., doing a really good job. Stormy Daniels then says her publicist made her reconsider her position of F no, I don't want to have dinner with Trump. Quote, "It will make a great story," the publicist told Stormy Daniels. "He's a business guy. What could possibly go wrong?" Stormy Daniels says those were actually the words of her publicist. The prosecutor reminds Stormy Daniels, maybe for the third time now, just slow down for the court reporter. Please slow down just a little bit. Stormy Daniels then recalls visiting Donald Trump's hotel suite where he was wearing a Hugh Hefner-esque robe. "I told him to go changed and he obliged very politely." So when she showed up to this room, which she describes as a large, mahogany-filled hotel room. She says it was bigger than any apartment that she had ever lived in. She opens the door. Donald Trump is wearing a robe, trying to look like Hugh Hefner, she says. She adds that he quickly came back in a dress shirt. The room, she says, was 3 times the size of my apartment. Another reminder from the prosecutor, Miss Daniels, please slow down for the court reporter. Stormy Daniels then said, he asked how I got involved in the adult entertainment business. She says she had to correct the misconception that adult films don't have plots and they're all cheap lines about the pizza boy. Then she recalls being surprised by Trump's perceptive business questions. Some of the questions Trump asked her: are there any unions? Do you get residuals? Do you get health insurance? Do you get tested for STDs? Is there a doctor on staff? Stormy Daniels says, these were very thought-out business questions. This leads to an extensive back and forth about STD testing and other safety precautions, and Daniels discloses that condoms were always a must, even with her husband, even though she says she's allergic to latex. Daniels testifies that Donald Trump told her that he and his wife don't sleep in the same room, sparking an audible response in the gallery of the courtroom. She also recounts how Donald Trump said that she reminds him of Ivanka with their blonde hair and them both being very misunderstood people. Daniels recounts her famous story about spanking Donald Trump with a rolled-up magazine, swirling the imaginary mag above her head on the witness stand. Question: where did you swat him? Answer: right on the butt. A little earlier, Justice Merchan joined the prosecutors, just saying, please slow down a little bit, Miss Daniels. Morning recess. During the recess, there's some other activity, and then we are back. Welcome back, Miss Daniels. Let's get to the jury. Court resumes with Stormy Daniels back in the hotel suite in 2006. Did there come a time when you needed to use the restroom? Answer: yes. She says she had to go through a living room and a bedroom to get into the bathroom. Daniels: there was a leather-looking toiletry bag on the counter. I did look. I'm not proud of it. Daniels: when I had opened the door to come out, Mr. Trump was on the bed. So Stormy Daniels goes to the bathroom. She exits the bathroom. When she came out, she says Donald Trump was on the bed. She says that he was wearing boxer shorts and a t-shirt. She wasn't expecting someone to be there in not a lot of clothing. I just thought, oh my God, what did I misread to get here, Daniels said. Daniels quoted Donald Trump saying something to the effect of telling her if she ever wants to get out of the trailer park, prompting the defense to object. The judge sustains. There's a sidebar. The judge doesn't seem to be happy about the level of detail. Asked whether she felt threatened by Trump, Daniel says no, but notes that there was a bodyguard who was waiting outside. There was an imbalance of power. Sure, he was bigger. Stormy Daniels adds, question: at some point were you on the bed having sex with him? Yes. The prosecutor asks Daniels to describe it briefly. Stormy starts to say, we were in a missionary position for the defense. Objection, Your Honor. The judge says sustained. Question: did you end up having sex with him on the bed? Answer: yes. Was he wearing a condom? Answer: no. Asked if that concerned her, she said yes, but she says she didn't say anything. Daniel said she didn't tell anyone about it because she felt ashamed. Question: did you see Mr. Trump again in Tahoe the next day? Answer: yes. She says that this next time it was at one of the nightclubs in her hotels. Her employer, Wicked Pictures, hosted the event. Daniel said she told lots of people that she went to Trump's room, but only a small circle of people knew about sex. Daniel says that she and Trump spoke often on the phone. Quote, I always put him on speakerphone. We thought it was funny. Dozens and dozens of people heard me on the phone with him. She adds later, he always called me Honey Bunch. Daniel says that Trump eventually gave her the number of his assistant, Ronna. Earlier in the trial, Ronna Graff entered Daniels' phone number of Trump's organization Outlook database into evidence. Daniels entered her number on her phone as D. Trump Ronna. Analysis. The dirty details of the testimony will dominate the headlines, but pay attention to any corroborating evidence that emerges as trial continues. Daniels says that Trump introduced her at an event to Karen, whom she did not know at the time. It was Karen McDougal, she says. So Donald Trump then introduces Stormy Daniels to Karen McDougal, who Donald Trump was also having the affair with. There's a number of objections that are taking place. In 2007, Daniels said she met with Trump for a brief discussion at his office. Trump claimed to be working on The Apprentice thing because Trump had told her that he would try to get her on The Apprentice. Asked if Trump seemed concerned about being seen with her at Trump Towers, Daniels responded, "Oh no, he just seemed busy." Daniels recalls meeting with Trump at a bungalow in Los Angeles. "He kept trying to make sexual advances, putting his hand on my leg," she says. "What was your response?" "I told him I was on my period." Trump eventually told Daniels that she wouldn't be on The Apprentice, she said. She says she fell out of touch with Trump after that and went on with her life until someone let her know that In Touch would run a story about her. There have been many animated sidebar discussions today. After the latest conference ends, the prosecutor asked Daniels about an encounter that she had in Las Vegas parking lot following her interview with In Touch magazine. Now, we're seeing some responses from others in Trump's orbit right now. Here's a response from Eric Trump, who's not happy at all about this testimony that's taking place. Eric Trump says, "Perspective, sitting front row attempting to figure out how any of this garbage from 20 years ago relates to legal bills submitted by a longtime personal attorney being booked. They don't give a S-word about the merits of this case. The 15 Manhattan prosecutors are sitting at their table and behind in the courthouse pews, giddy by this salacious show. This is the intent, not the merits, nor the fact that this entire case is a massive extortion play." The case is a massive extortion play? Excuse me? So anyway, that's where we're at right now. We talked about, the witnesses yesterday talking about the falsification of the business records, how invoices were handled at the Trump organization. And now Donald Trump has denied anything with Stormy Daniels. So it's not a stipulated fact. So you have to have her go and testify about what happened. Had Trump said, "Yes, I did this. This is why I did it," you wouldn't need all of this. But Trump is claiming that none of this happened, so you need to have Stormy Daniels corroborate what went down. That's it for now. We'll do another part of Stormy Daniels' testimony, but this is compelling stuff, and we'll bring you the cross-examination as well as soon as we hear. Hit subscribe. We're on our way to 3 million subscribers. Thanks for watching.
Love this video? Make sure you stay up to date on the latest breaking news and all things Meidas by signing up to the MeidasTouch newsletter at MeidasTouch.com/newsletter.